Good evening. This is Stan Matthews in the Matthews broadcast, streaming worldwide here at gemsradio.net. Yes, that's www.gemsradio.net. I want to welcome you to Election Day 2017. It's a time for the primaries. We have 6 candidates running for the Democratic nomination, 2 for the Republican nomination here in the state of New Jersey for governor. That governor would take office in January of 2018. I am probably not alone in wishing my classmate from law school goodbye. I think there's a whole lot of people that think he might have been there a little too long. So I don't think there'd be any tears about my former classmate. So he even made a run for president, which didn't go too well. But I'm sure
I voted. I went to the polls.
There you go. So did I, and I'm sure he'll find something to do. This is the empowerment, the enrichment, and the upliftment broadcast. Those are the 3 principles that guide this broadcast. Those are the 3 reasons why we do this broadcast, and we want to welcome you, the greatest audience in the world, and thank you, as we always do, for all of the emails, all of the texts, all of the suggestions. Was actually with a couple of our clients today. Some of the people who have come on the show, and people are always willing to share a little bit of their mind with you to make sure that we're always improving. First and foremost, before we get going, I want to pay the bills. I want to ask you to support our super sponsors, without whom there would not be a Matthews broadcast. First and foremost, I want to ask you to support the Urban Business Association, which is an organization dedicated to circulating dollars in urban communities. So if you're serious about growing your clientele today, accept no substitutes, join UBA. You can call UBA at 908-723-1258. And you can either speak with Jerry Moultrie or my good friend Keith Broadway, and they are the founders of UBA. Secondly, for mobile marketing that will be guaranteed to take your sales higher, call Trey and Daniel at Billboards for Hire. Again, mobile marketing to take your advertising and your sales even higher. Call Trey and Daniel at Billboards for Hire. You can reach Billboards for Hire at 917-756-0053. Those are those trucks with the 20-foot digital screens on the side. You've seen them at Circle of Sisters in New York at the Javits Center. You've seen them at all the sporting events. And certainly you've seen them participating in the political events. For those who, unfortunately, have to look at divorce as an option, you certainly want it to be done right. Our master counselor and friend, Cassandra Savoy, is waiting and available to help you with that process. You can call Cassandra at the Savoy Law Firm. They are at 973-748-0097. 973-748-0097. Nothing says I love you like flowers. You have tried the rest, now try the best. A Rose's Petal at 472 Broadway in the Silk City of Patterson. Nathaniel and Carolyn Joe have been there for more than 20 years, making everybody happy with their great assortment of flowers for all occasions. And they are a flowers.com preferred vendor, so they can send it out of state, which I've done several times with them. And they can make sure that that loved one that you need to get those flowers to have them. You can reach A Rose's Petals at 973-742-5333. Mr. G's Restaurant, where good friends greet, meet, and eat. They are at 455 East 18th Street in Patterson. Russell Grady, the Dean of Black Entrepreneurs in the state of New Jersey, has been in business for 54 years since coming from Wrightsville, Georgia. You can reach Mr. G at 973-782-4020. 973-782-4020 if you want to call ahead and get that special order. The catfish nuggets are outstanding. That's kind of what I'm stuck on. For advice and planning, that's always great. Call Smith Gilmore Real Estate. Smith Gilmore Real Estate is at 1258 Teaneck Road in Teaneck. My friend Violet Smith Gilmore is the principal of Smith Gilmore Real Estate Brokerage, and they do real estate management for investors who don't want to do all the things that a property owner should do. They'll even go to court for you and represent you in all of the things that investors need. And they also have the other side for sales and purchases as well. If you're looking to raise up to $25,000 in working capital with no debt and no credit check, call the Funding Magnet. They fund your plans so that you can live your dreams. Call Anthony Hibbert at fundingmagnet.org, or you can call him directly at 973-357-3698. 973-357-3698. Dorson Home Care is a breath of fresh air for caregivers everywhere. Call them today at 973-672-7691 for the best home care anywhere. They are conveniently located at 395 Pleasant Valley Way in West Orange and also on Chestnut Street in Roselle. For the best home care anywhere, call Dorson Home Care. My friends Sonia Scott and Dr. Winston Scott are the owners of Dorson. And that is what I needed to do to make sure that we have those folk happy with us, Cornelius.
Oh, yes.
And we are glad, very glad this evening to have Damon Downing, the owner of 8 to 8 Barbershop in West Orange, co-hosting for the first time.
Yes.
He's going to be with me on Tuesdays. I have a great deal of respect and admiration for this young man. We did the intro and we were playing Jungle Boogie by Kool and the Gang. So I was saying to my star guest, he doesn't know anything about this Ken. And the young man said, "Oh, I cut his hair." You notice I had to slide back out of that, right, Gunny? I felt like that Beyonce record. She said, "You must not know about me." So I'm glad that this young man has the kind of connects that he has, and you're going to hear a lot from him as we go forward, Mr. Damon Downing. Welcome. This evening we are going to get started in a moment, but we'd be remiss if we did not say thank you to all of our fans, in-state, out-of-state. For those out-of-state, Shaka Andrews in Miami, Florida. Hope everything is well. Ron Pravat in Richmond, Virginia. Charlene St. Clair and Clem in Richmond, Virginia. Pinky Andrews in Hampton, Virginia. Harry and Anastasia in Charleston, South Carolina. Paul Otis Brown there in Hotlanta, as long as Tyrone Scotty Howard. The same. Greg Rowley in Falls Church, Virginia, and Harvetta Fax in Laurel, Maryland. I also want to say hi to our international folks who made sure they connected with me today. Phaedra Andrews in London, England. I hope you're all safe over there. Simpson De Silva in Guyana, South America. Also Leslie Andrews in Honolulu, Hawaii, which is not international, but certainly a part of the United States of America. I could go on, but those are the people who insisted that I give them a shout out, Ken, so I had to say those names, or I'm going to hear about it on the other side. That's right. Remember, audience, you all are kingdom builders and world changers, but nothing changes until you use your gifts, those gifts that the Creator gave you, to change the world. And so we want to remind you that you need to stop getting set and stop getting started, but go ahead and go. Bishop Ron Jones, if you're listening, if you're watching, I was so happy to have you on last night. He came to me, Cornelius and Damon, and said, if you take the D off of the word God, what do you have? go. And so you don't want to live a life of regret. And Ken, you definitely know this because of how hard you work to get people to launch into their dream and to fulfill their dreams in a financial sense. But there are often so many people who are always getting ready. They're always getting set, but they rarely ever go. You know, a life of regret is far harder to take, Denise, than to really try hard and fail. At least you gave it a chance. You gave your dream an opportunity. And so we want you to go ahead and give your dream the opportunity that it deserves. The second thing is on the upliftment principle is that we need to invest how we make each other feel. This is a very toxic environment that we're operating in. For the first time in a long time, the President of the United States himself is putting a cloud over so many different things, from pushing another head of state to get in front of a picture in Europe, to all of the things that were said in the campaign, you know, from Lock Her Up to Lion Ted. All of this has created a toxic environment. The former head of the FBI is to testify on Thursday, and everyone is anticipating that some more things will come out. So, you know, in light of all of this, you know, we need to take seriously how we make each other feel. And so as we share every night on this broadcast, we should heed the advice of our poet laureate, Maya Angelou, who said, people will forget what you said. They may even forget what you did, but they will rarely ever forget how you made them feel. So we want to go ahead and we want to make an investment in how we make each other feel. You know, there's a word, Damon, in the Bible, and I know you're a mighty man of God, that says, how can you say you love God who you've never seen?
You don't love your brother who you see every day.
And you don't love your brother who you see every single day. So
That's
let's
right.
go ahead and work on how we make each other feel. Final part of the principle is enrichment. And so on this principle, we need to change some behavior to get this right. On the principle of enrichment, remember this, brown and black folk, you're a very wealthy people. In the state of New Jersey alone, you have some $41 billion that you spend into the economy on an annual basis. On a national basis of the $19 trillion gross domestic product of the United States of America, urban communities contribute some 4.1 trillion of that. That is serious money.
Yes, it is.
And the problem isn't that we don't have the money, right? As the Chamber of Commerce and the Treasury Department will testify, but we do not spend it wisely. And so you're going to get a real kick out of the guest that we have on tonight. He's the finance doctor, if there ever was one. But think about this. In the East Asian community, people from Indonesia, people from Malaysia, people from Singapore, people from India, the dollar goes around their communities 19 times before it touches another hand. They even outstrip, you know, the community we all talk about in terms of frugality, which is the Jewish community. The Jewish community dollar goes around 15 times, right? In urban communities, even though we have that spending power of 4.1 trillion, the dollar does not stay but 6 hours.
Wow.
Right? So you get paid, you get something to eat, and then it goes straight out of the community. Of course, if you think of urban America with that $4.1 trillion, it would be the 7th wealthiest nation at the United Nations if it was considered as a nation. But if you think about it, what would the nation look like if 99% of its income went out in 6 hours? Are you surprised that the streets look like they look? Are you surprised that the housing looks like it looks in many of our communities? Are you surprised that the schools are improperly equipped? Are you surprised that the investment in terms of new stores and new opportunities for entrepreneurship, because we are taking those precious dollars that come in and sending them right out to someone else. And so we're making a direct investment in other communities immediately. I mean, if I were living in the communities where people who own property and people who invest live. And I knew that I had a community that was so consumer minded that as soon as they got it, they brought it to me like on autopilot. I don't even have to do anything. They bring it without me asking them. That would be a wonderful thing. And so we've got to turn that around. Stokely Carmichael once said the brown and the black man and woman is the wealthiest people on the planet. They just haven't found out about it yet. You know, that's news they haven't heard. So you always hear people talking about what we don't have. And I think that's miseducation. It doesn't bear out. In fact, the Christine Lagarde, the chairwoman of the IMF, which is the monetary agency for the entire world, she was just speaking in Germany, and she said that the 5 fastest growing economies in the world are African nations. They're calling them the African lions. And you're talking about Ghana. You're talking about Nigeria. You're talking about Botswana, very tiny Botswana. You're talking about Angola. I mean, you're talking about nations who are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in terms of the 159 nations that the IMF tracks. 5 African nations' economy is growing even faster than China right now. But, you know, when you hear us talk, you don't hear that as a subject matter. You hear people saying, oh, we don't, you know. It's because our consciousness isn't a global consciousness, and we don't think of ourselves as wealthy. And so we've got to, you know, do what one of my favorite empowerment teachers, Wayne Dyer, says: when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Right? So one man has a hammer in his hand, and he's a carpenter. He sees a tool that he makes a living with. Another man sees that hammer in Orlando, Florida, as a murder weapon and tries to maim his co-worker with it today. Because they're looking at the same hammer. But both of them have a different intentionality about that thing. So when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So let's organize our income. Let's see if we can set a goal of saving 10% of that 4.1 trillion. That's $410 billion that could be invested in many, many ways in our community if we were just to think about it differently. And so we can see Dr. King's beloved community and Malcolm's Just Society coming into view by our action, not by our talk. By our action, not by talk. These men sacrificed their lives, and so we have everything that we could think of. I was just telling a group of young men over the weekend that I was with a friend of mine. We were doing some mentorship, and we were saying in 1865, we left many places in the South with cardboard on the inside of shoes that we had worn for 10 and 12 years. And those people that were leaving the South and coming north never knew there would be a day that somebody would walk into the White House with bally loafers on, and he would be their descendant. You never could see that. But they were on a journey somewhere. But that happened. That happened in these United States, where anything is possible in this, the land of dreams. So keep on dreaming. And we've got a guest that's going to help you to be able to do that. He is Ken Carter. He is an author. He is a poet. He is certainly a man who loves the performing arts. He's a man of God, and he is a man of finance. I've known Ken more years than I want to say on the air because, you know, I won't say that Ken witnessed the crossing of the Red Sea. Maybe I did. At all, but he is young at heart, and young in every way, always kept himself in great shape, always kept himself up to date on the cutting edge of everything. I'm very, very proud to call him friend. Welcome Ken Carter to the Matthews broadcast. And I'm going to turn it over to Damon, and Damon is going to ask you a few questions to enable our audience to be able to understand, to be uplifted, and also to support what Work Your Money does. Damon?
So how you doing, Ken?
I'm doing great, Damon, and Stan, thank you so much. Also, thank you for not going back historically and giving away my age. But I just have to say, as an aside, how excited I am to be here and to support this radio station that is about positivity, that is about growth and development for all peoples. And so this is now my 36th year in business.
Go ahead, Ken.
Because while I worked a lot of jobs, I always had a dream. I had some fire burning inside me. And that fire continues to burn today. Everybody has it if they would just plug into that and believe in themselves.
Amen. So what is the name of your business or your organization?
Well, I'm really involved with two organizations. The major organization that I started 8 years ago is called Working Your Money. It's a financial literacy and entrepreneurship education company. I teach financial literacy and entrepreneurship at Raritan Valley Community College for the last 7.5, 8 years. I teach at West Orange High School, personal finance. But what's much more exciting, that I partnered with a brother that I had been doing real estate business with for 26 years, Trevor McKenzie. And he started a company about 3 years ago called Think and Profit. We did a lot of real estate for 25 years. When the crash happened, we have to reinvent ourselves. And so I partnered up with Trevor 3 years ago in Think and Profit. Let me just share with you what Think and Profit it's all about. The word itself indicates that we're talking about thinking and profit, so that's finance. What we do is we specialize in providing consumer easy financing, business financing, commercial real estate financing, and CFO advisory, okay? As well as financial literacy and entrepreneurship education. Because we believe really it's so important not just to give people the money to move their businesses forward, but many people, they have the dream, but they don't have all of the wherewithal to make it happen. We want to take them by the hand, not only finance them, but give them the guidance that they need so that they can be successful.
Okay. So what is the unique value of your business or your organization?
I'm glad you asked that, Damon. Our unique value is our CFO advisory, Certified Financial Officer Advisory. We're going to help you manage your money properly, grow your wealth, and get yourself in a position where if you grow it, you can take it and franchise it if you like. But we want to help you build and develop your dreams. So we take you by the hand and we help you with the money management end of it. We give you the education you need. We give you the financing. Because we don't want to give you the money and you don't succeed. We want to make sure that you succeed as we do it. That's our unique selling proposition, because you don't find that in the industry today.
Sounds like value to me.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes.
It's amazing. So who is a great referral that will help your business to grow?
A great referral would be a small to medium-sized business who's looking to get gap financing for any number of reasons. They may want to expand. They may want to buy some real estate, acquire some real estate. Another great referral would be a real estate investor who's looking to get some money to buy that property, to flip and build his fortune. These are the kinds of referrals that would work for us. All right?
Okay. And what are you offering in return for our audience's support today?
Well, one of the things we want to do is share the wealth. And as such, what we do is we share 10% of what we make. That's a 10% discount. So if we're charging you $100, you're going to save $10 and it's going to cost you $90. We want to put money back in your pocket. It's all about the reciprocity.
Awesome. Awesome. And what is your contact and social media information?
Well, you can reach us at www.thinkandprofit.net. And my particular contact number there is 866-373-0909, and my extension is 627. I can be reached there at any time.
The website address?
Yes, the website address is www.thinkandprofit.net. www.thinkandprofit.net.
Awesome. Think and Profit.
Now, yeah, that's what we are passionate about. I heard, as Stan was talking earlier, about growing our urban communities with that 4 point something trillion that we're going through annually. And so we want to be able to get in there and educate them and guide them, let them start to think about investing and growing their wealth. That's one of the things that we want to do.
Now, Ken, this subject, I believe, is the biggest story out there today, every day, and tomorrow. Kitchen table issues, as far as I'm concerned, is headline news. And why? Cornelius and I live in Patterson. One of the things that plagues Patterson is an ongoing turf war by young men in the First and the Fourth Ward. They call it up the hill and down the hill. There have been spikes constantly in murders. I was invited to a discussion with Captain Richard Reyes, who attended law school with me at Seton Hall. He is now captain of detectives for the city of Patterson. Rich said, come, I have a discussion. And I listened to what pastors were saying. I listened to what the politicians in the room were saying and others. And, I made a suggestion at the very end. I said, what if the young people who are engaged in this behavior were paid to do well in school? What if you took some of that $563 million budget the city of Patterson spends on education and take the kids that have the most at risk and pay them well for getting A's and B's? I think you probably have a tougher time recruiting a young person in something where he may lose his life instead of something where he would gain his life by being an excellent student. That was my suggestion. The other thing is, if we had true economic development, the choices that these young people make would be different.
Yes, they would.
If you grew up in the streets of South Orange, grew up in the streets of Livingston, streets of Montclair, you are making a different choice than you are making on 3rd Street in the First Ward.
That's correct.
So you're making a different choice than you're making on Bergen Street in Newark. No difference between those young people, in my opinion. Nobody comes out of their mother's womb a gangbanger.
Right.
A dope dealer. Nobody's born that way. This is learned behavior. So I think if our political leaders, I love the CFO concept, but I would love to see, Ken, that you and your partner do boot camps for publicly elected officials, because the way in which they are spending these dollars could have some alterations that could change some behavior. What do you think about coaching publicly elected officials in how to use their dollars? Because I really don't think many of them have had any intense training in that area.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. I think there's a tremendous need for it. We just hope that they would be open to that, and they need to be, because they too can become more and more successful by getting the proper education and guidance. It doesn't preclude them from, leading, but we all need mentors.
Yes, we do.
We all need people who could help us. None of us know it all. And so it's incumbent upon us, therefore, to get new information. I say to my students all the time, it's not the known that you should be moving toward. It's the unknown, because therein lies the growth. We have to simply get out of our own head, step away from our ego, and allow ourselves to grow. Get out of the box, get out there in that area where there's much more growth, and we can all be more productive in that.
I think so. I mean, I look at this knowledge that you are offering as two streets going in different directions. One street going in the direction of
Excuse me.
destruction, and the other street going in the direction of enrichment, upliftment, and it's simply a choice. But to know that you have people with the skills that are willing to share those skills and impart that knowledge is even more critical. But I would love to see the mindsets of our elected leaders in particular open up, and certainly our pastors. You know, I have witnessed over the years, and you probably have as well, that people will come to the pastor for everything from making pancakes to how to use money. And the pastor doesn't have a degree in pancakes or entrepreneurship. But in our churches, that's the only person that can answer everything. Well, what does pastor think? Now, this is not a criticism of the pastor. I think the pastors sometimes are put in awkward positions because they, you know, they don't come with that expertise. But the Lord said, I need to talk to the pastor about it. Has the pastor ever invested any money in stocks? What does the pastor's 401k look like? I don't know, but the Lord, you know, now the man of God or the woman of God, you know, is now backed up in the corner, and they have to answer some things that they don't know anything about. So that's the second sector that I would love to see your business target some boot camps with pastor, because the people are going to come to them anyway. So if they had, you know, you and your partner as a resource, I think that would be helpful. Do you think that, you know, if the phone rings and there's some clergymen on the phone, that you guys would mind working with them?
Well, we certainly would be excited to work with them. But let me just say that over the last 26 years in real estate, I worked with a number of pastors as a real estate broker. And as you say, there are a lot of well-meaning pastors who simply don't have the skills. And today, what I'm finding, unfortunately, is that many churches, particularly in the urban areas, are losing financing because their congregations cannot give as they used to. They have gotten themselves in financial debt over their head. They've built additions to the church. They borrowed money against the real estate that they own. And so they're having some difficulties. Many churches now are going into foreclosure. And this is a reality. And so I implore pastors wholeheartedly, and this is not with judgment. This is without judgment, because nobody's going to look at you. We don't have all the answers, any of us. Therefore, allow us to help you.
I can bear witness to the unfortunate loss of property by many churches. City National Bank, the state's only black-owned bank, had a portfolio in which they had financed many churches in our community. And in working with City National on some other business, found out that portfolio was in real trouble. A lot of those loans almost sunk the bank itself. And so, you know, these are different times. But again, the word says, how shall they know lest they have a teacher?
Right.
You know, you seem to be very capable, sir.
Thank you.
And very enthusiastic.
Thank you. I am.
So like they said in the scripture, go ye therefore, you know, teaching the masses. So you know, I'm excited about I think the opportunity that you have. That opportunity, we'll be glad to help you expand in any way we can with these cameras, these microphones, and this platform. And so as we come to a close in this segment of the Matthews broadcast, Ken, I'll give you the floor for whatever final thoughts you'd like to share with our audience in terms of just suggestions to our community, opportunities for partnering with you and Trevor or anything else that you'd like to share.
Thank you very much. And I just want to thank both of you, both Damon and you, for inviting me out this evening because I'm absolutely passionate about what we're doing. I was born in the South. I was migrated here at a tender age of 12, went to the military, later went to college, and opened a business. But I worked many jobs. No job is going to pay you what you're worth. And I've worked a lot of jobs, and I do not talk about working a job. Get a job, absolutely. But have big dreams. Have big dreams. Now, here's what we need. We need to have a simple, rudimentary plan for managing the money we have. Even if it's $1, I can show you how to manage it. But moreover, if you have children, what do you want to leave for them as a legacy? What goals do you want to set for yourself that they can look at and emulate and follow? We are where we are, I believe, because we create our reality with our thoughts and the actions that we take as a result of those thoughts. But if we, as you said earlier, and Dwayne Dyer was a wonderful friend to me because I've read his books for many, many years. If you want change, and Jim Rohn said this, if you want things to change, you have to change. If you want things to change, you have to change.
That's why they call him the philosopher of empowerment.
You have to change. So I invite the people listening this evening to reach out to us. Organizations, churches, civic and social organizations. I've taught women's organizations. I've taught for the Nook school system, mothers, single mothers. I've taught up in Union County, young men just about ready to go to jail with the ankle bracelet on their ankle. And we turn them around because we help them to dream larger dreams. We can do something with what we have, but we got to get past our poverty mindset.
And that's all that it is. It's a poverty mindset.
Okay? And once you change, everything in your life will change.
And when you have the wealth mindset,
Yes.
it will.
And let me just say this. Nobody does it alone. Nobody. I didn't do it alone. I got help. People saw something in me and they said, hey, let me give you a push. Think about this instead of that. And then take some steps because nothing finally happens without some action.
I hope the people at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue might be peeping in here right now. Nobody does it alone. You know, the UCLA did an experiment, Ken, where they set up a bubble to simulate space. And they took an individual, because you know in space it's weightless, so you just kind of float, and put an individual in the bubble. The individual just floated. And he asked the question, what difference in the world do you make now? The simple point they were trying to make is that one of the purposes, the Passive Saddleback Church, Rick Warren points this out in his runaway bestseller, The Purpose-Driven Church. One of the purposes for which God created man and woman was fellowship. Right? And of course, you know, there's this place in the scripture where Peter asks Jesus, what is the most important commandment after love God with all your heart, mind, body, and soul? And Jesus said, of course, love your brother as you love yourself. He was unveiling the importance of fellowship without other human beings to share in this dialogue or share in this learning, it means nothing.
Right.
Because if you go home right now and you have this same conversation, who will be there to enjoy it? Who will be there to enjoy this brilliant young man, my brother Cornelius, or all the wisdom that you brought here? Can you just be having a conversation with yourself? So, and sometimes that's good too.
Yes.
Because positive self-talk will correct some things.
Yes.
You know, but we have enjoyed this hour immensely. Let me have the telephone number one more time, Ken.
Yes, you can reach us at 866-373-0909, extension 627. And our website is www.thinkandprofit.net.
Thinkandprofit.net. Sounds like what's his name, Brother Hill's book. I think that's the all-time leading best-selling book.
Yeah.
Napoleon
Think and Get
Hill.
Rich. Think and Grow Rich.
Grow Rich.
Yeah, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I hope that just one person watching right now has heard something that will cause them to pick up the phone and call this teacher. If 2 call, I'd be overjoyed. If 100 call, he'd be overjoyed. So, I hope all of that happens. And so, I claim that at this moment in this time and declare that all things are possible in his name and by his power. Whenever there's someone that's trying to do a blessing work, things shift. And so I sense that and I hear that in Brother Ken Carter. Remember, Matthew's broadcast audience, there are 2 types of people in the world: dreamers like you, and dream killers. Embrace the first and run like heck from the second. This is Stan Matthews in the Matthews broadcast. Gone for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. Good night and God bless.